Tonight, we have the latest new Q posts as Q gives us an update on who is in and who is out in the FBI and the Department of Justice. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, I start each and every one of these episodes by saying thank you to every one of my subscribers. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so thank you so much to each and every one of you who have subscribed. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please come here to this landing page. Click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get posted, you'll be notified because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, jumping right into the latest Q posts. First, we have something that's pretty simple. Q is doing what he's done a few times over the last few months here, and he's changing trip codes. And for those of you who don't know, a trip code is the equivalent to a username, if you will. And it's like having an account with, like here on the 8chan board, right? And what he does is he posts using his old trip code, the one we all know, saying trip update. Now the next one says trip confirmation Q. Now what he's doing is he's using a new trip code to confirm from his last trip code that he is still Q, and it's the same people. So what we've talked about before about what this all is you have the trip codes being, like I said, the usernames that they go by. They're the markers, the identifiers. Now, the way Q works is if there are more than one Q, which we believe there are, multiple Q ANONs, what they do is they all share a password to this trip code, and when they come and post, they can post under this trip code. That way we can confirm it's them, and it's a pretty simple way of just confirming and getting confirmation on who is actually posting, so we know it's Q. So now Q's telling us that this is the trip code that's old, which we know he's used before, and this is the new one that we need to trust. And now what he does here in the next post is he points us to a new, using the old trip code, he points us to a new board here, which is going to be the Patriots Fight board, where Q is actually putting up posts as we speak. And it's right here, it's Patriots Fight on 8chan. This is the new board that we're all going to be working with here. So, and I don't know, he may still work with the Great Awakening board. I'm not 100% on this because obviously there's not a lot of information to go off of yet. But the next one is interesting. So that was what all that is. The next post, Q actually says, he puts up the picture Justice, and it's a cannon firing. And he puts in the kill box here, or brackets as we know them as a kill box with Q, future comms. So what he's saying is that the future comms will be here on the Patriots Fight board. So he's saying pre-stage election, yes. Pre-stage security, yes. I'm kind of assuming some of these. Pre-stage director, yes. Pre-stage capacity, yes. Kill box on ready, Q. So what I think they're talking about here is they're just preparing for the information that they're going to be sharing here on the new Patriots Fight board. So that is very interesting in and of itself. But if you guys have any insights as to what he's actually confirming here, this is usually confirmations when they're the underscore yes, Y meaning yes, and you can kind of see what these may mean. Now, what Q said about stages in the past is that stages are being set. So if stages are being set, it would, and sorry about that, I just want to enlarge it for you guys because I'm sure a lot of you are like, I can't see it. But Q says the stages are set, the stage is being set. So this is the pre-stage setting for elections, maybe election fraud or the upcoming elections, the security of the United States, national security possibly. Direction or director, I'm not sure. You guys let me know what you think in the comments on that one. And capacity or capability, I'm not sure on that one either. So you guys let me know what you think. That would definitely be something interesting. But we have more to get into here, something very interesting. So first, Q puts up another, and he keeps on putting up these picture files named Justice. So I don't know if I think this is the new phase that we're coming into. It's going to be the phase of justice. It's going to be the phase of people getting their due. And that is definitely going to be very interesting. But here's Trump's tweet. It says, a rigged system. They don't want to turn over documents to Congress. What are they afraid of? Why so much redacting? Why such unequal justice? At some point, I will have no choice but to use the powers granted to the presidency and get involved. Now, what Trump's saying here directly is that the system's been rigged against him. You have these bad actors in the FBI, bad actors in the Department of Justice who are putting together this fake investigation into the Russia hoax, which is suggesting that Trump somehow is colluded with Russia, which we all know is completely the furthest thing from the truth, in my opinion. And they're holding on to these documents. They're not redacting, or they won't put out the unredacted version of the text messages. Not to mention, there's probably, I think, over 1 million documents that were subpoenaed by Congress and the intelligence committees. Intelligence Committee and other committees have subpoenaed the FBI and the Department of Justice for, and they will not turn them over. What kind of system is this? Since when did the Department of Justice and the FBI become so powerful that they are not beholden to having to work with Congress and work under their purview and oversight? When did this democracy switch at some point? I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think, because it's frustrating and it's really, really something that just is very maddening when you get into it. But what we're going to talk about is what Q gets into next. So the next Q post is actually talking about how we have basically an update on what's going on, right? And as we're talking, we're getting more Q posts. So just stick with us here, and you'll be informed as soon as the information is made available, obviously. So he's naming this Justice as well here. And he's named this picture John Kerry Trader, but we're going to get into that in a minute. We're going to stick with this one. But moving forward, all right, but we're going to look at this for now. Okay, so first, it is this picture is referring to this post here from Q, where Q says, focus on the FBI for now, Killbox. Jim Rubicki, Chief of Staff and Senior Counselor, fired. James Baker, General Counsel, fired. Andrew McCabe, Deputy Director, fired. James Comey, Director, fired. Bill Priestap, Head of Counterintelligence and Stroke's boss, cooperating witness, power removed. Peter Strzok, Deputy Assistant Director of the Counterintelligence, cooperating witness, power removed. Lisa Page, attorney with the FBI's Office of the General Counsel, cooperating witness, power removed. Conspiracy, think about the above, only the above. Get the picture? Well, let's move that into conjunction with what Q's going to get into in the next one, okay? Now, here we go. Let's read through it. Updated. James Baker, fired, reported today. Resigned, false. So it reported that James Baker resigned today, but Q's letting us know the truth is he was fired. It says he was removed in January and fired on April 21st. Interesting. Now it's saying Lisa Page, we all know Page and Strzok, the lovebirds, was fired, reported today, resigned. We all know that's false, according to Q. Testimony received. So we got testimony from her, obviously. And tracking, yes. So obviously we're tracking that. Now added. So these are additional things that we haven't talked about yet. And these are people in the FBI who are being actively put on notice or have been fired or are cooperating. And the DOJ. It's saying Mike Corton, FBI Assistant Director for Public Affairs, fired, cooperating under resigned title. Josh Campbell, Special Assistant to James Comey, fired. Well, obviously the Special Assistant to James Comey needs to be out of there because Comey's a leaker and a liar and a criminal, in my opinion. So who knows what kind of stuff his assistant was getting into behind the scenes. But if you go read the Lisa Page and Peter Strzok text, there's so much stuff that's redacted. The unredacted version is going to implicate so many of these people in the biggest conspiracy. It's going to be pretty incredible. Now it's saying Killbox, Department of Justice. Who are we going after at the Department of Justice? David Laufman, Chief of the Justice Department's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section. National Security HRC email investigation, fired, forced. Well, because he was obviously working to help Hillary Clinton get out of that. Now, John Carlin, Assistant Attorney General, Head of DOJ, Department of Justice National Security Division, fired, forced. Sally Yates, Deputy Attorney General and Acting Attorney General, fired. I mean, Sally was one of the worst. She really hated Trump, and it was very obvious, so I'm glad they got her out of there a long time ago. Mary McCord, acting assistant attorney general, acting head of DOJ's National Security Division, fired, forced, meaning forced out, forced to resign. Bruce Orr, associate deputy attorney general, demoted 2 times and cooperating witness now with his power removed. So Bruce Orr obviously has become a cooperating witness, and he was I believe Bruce was the 3rd behind Rod Rosenstein. So, or actually it's Rachel Brand, the next one, but maybe he was like the 4th or something. Yeah, he's the 4th in command. So he's cooperating as a witness now. Obviously, these people have turned on each other. They're all a bunch of snakes in the grass, and they're going to get what they deserve. Rachel Brand, the Associate Attorney General, number 3 official behind Deputy Attorney Rosenstein, fired, forced. Cross-examine all of this here that you're being told against against House and Senate resignations, people and final term announcements, plus CEO departures. Things like pop into my head off the top of my head. We have Paul Ryan saying he's not going to seek re-election. You have John McCain saying he's not going to seek re-election. You have multiple CEOs stepping down, from Eric Schmidt to so many others, that it's very important to understand that all of these people were working with the deep state, with the FBI, with the DOJ, against the duly elected president of the United States, conspiring to commit criminal acts against him, allegedly. So this is obviously the point that Q is trying to make here, is that we have to be aware, and we have to start cross-referencing all these. Now, I'm going to start working on that tonight, and I'll try to get something up maybe next week, where I'm going to cross-reference everything we're going over here, because this is a lot to digest all at once, but I'm going to try to cross-reference it against all the CEO departures, all of the House Senate resignations announcements, and we're going to definitely put together a video that's going to make a lot of sense to a lot of people when it is going to point out who is involved in this criminal cabal. But Q goes on, conspiracy, fake news, the swamp is being drained. Trust the plan, justice Q. Now, I get a lot of people in the comments saying, Craig, why is nothing happening? And they're not even talking to me. Usually it's Q, because obviously I don't have a lot of control over what is happening or is not happening. But I can tell you this, okay, that behind the scenes, there's a lot going on that we don't know. I think there's multiple investigations being run by the Department of Justice, the good actors there, investigating these bad actors. And I think that's the important thing we need to take away from all this, that there's obviously a multiple investigations going on behind the scenes. Now, the biggest investigation that we all want to see is Hillary Clinton. And of course, that would be wonderful if we could get her indicted for her criminal activities. But we have to go through the process of due process of affording everyone a full investigation. And this is the best thing we could do. Keep the heat on Trump. Keep the heat off of the Department of Justice, on Attorney Rosenstein and Mueller. Keep them under pressure and let Jeff Sessions work behind the scenes. I think this is what they're talking about when they say trust Jeff Sessions. You know, it's not popular. I know a lot of people do not like the idea of trusting Jeff Sessions, as Q tells us to trust the plan often. But in this case, it makes incredible amount of sense to think that behind the scenes, I mean, you're seeing it right here. Q's listing all these people who've been fired or forced or cooperating witnesses. There are investigations going on behind the scene. I think we just need to remain patient and trust in the plan that Q has, because he's ultimately going to help us to drain the actual swamp. And they're saying it's being drained right now. And a lot of people want to throw their memes around saying, oh, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Well, I can tell you that in my perspective, from what I've gathered doing a lot of research on this topic for quite some time now, not a very long time, but quite some time now, I can tell you that this seems to be a very, very good indicator of what's going on. Now, let's jump right into the next post, because this was a story I was going to bring to you guys anyway, and it's incredible that Q posted either way. But John Kerry is a traitor, is what this file name is. I'm filling in some blanks there. That's the way I read it and interpret it. But it's pointing to this picture, which is of a Q post from January 25th, 2018, where he says confirmed, and he gives a Fox News article where it talks about how John Kerry was coaching the Palestinians not to yield to Trump in peace talks. I mean, what kind of scumbag, traitor, treasonous, in my opinion, dirtbag do you have to be if this big, he looks like Eddie Munster or grown up as a hideous child, deformed. But seriously, John Kerry is not a good dude. He's obviously actively working against the president. It says, why did Hussein travel ahead of POTUS? Trump would not be in office for long. Quote, this is a quote. Trump would not be in office for long, suggesting he could be out in a year. And it's from the article, I think, where they were talking about what, I don't know, the Obama camp was saying about Trump in the first few months of his actual term as president. So it says, reread crumbs, future unlocks past Q. So he was pointing us back then to go reread crumbs, but it's fairly obvious what he's pointing to with this post. He's obviously telling us that we need to reread the drops about John Kerry and Iran. Important context for future news. Why is Hussein and John Kerry traveling worldwide and meeting with foreign heads of state, some enemies of the U.S.? HRC, Bill Clinton, Hillary and Bill Clinton are flying under the radar, same unreported. Why? Two former presidents, Secretary of States, out of power authority, racing around the world pre-post POTUS. Why? Unprecedented. The world is connected. The world is watching. Q. Thank you, Q. Thank you. I am so happy that Q has put this in such plain and easy to understand terms, because this is exactly what I've thought for quite some time, and Q has been basically hinting at it for quite some time as well. But let's go through it. John Kerry is in Iran now, telling them not to cooperate. I'm John Kerry, completely unelected, with no real power besides my status, I guess, as a former diplomat. And now he's over there trying to tell the Iranians not to cooperate with the acting president of the United States. Now, in my opinion, that's treason. That's an act of war. I mean, I'm exaggerating, I guess, here, but it's definitely, in my opinion, a traitorous, treasonous act against our country to go out and actively try to undermine the efforts of the duly elected president and his administration in negotiating peace worldwide. So now you have this. It's context for future news. So there's going to be articles that pop up, just as they already have today, talking about Kerry. And I was going to talk about this before Q even posted it. So that's very interesting, that this is a very big deal that's coming out here. But it's saying, Kerry quietly seeking to salvage Iran deal he helped craft. And this is coming out today from the, what is this? The Boston Globe, excuse me. And it's saying here that John Kerry's bid to save one of his most significant accomplishments as Secretary of State took him to New York on a Sunday afternoon 2 weeks ago, where he, more than a year after he left office, he engaged in some unusual shadow diplomacy. Now listen to this. Shadow diplomacy. That's what they're doing. They're shadowing Trump. They're going around. They're trying to convince the other leaders of the world that they still have control through the deep state here in America, that they don't have to be elected. They don't have to be voted for by you the people, we the people. No. They're just eternal diplomatic status, eternal ruling class status. They're not beholden to you. Don't let them fool you. Don't let Kerry, Hussein, Clintons, don't let any of them fool you. They're not beholden to you at all. They're beholden to basically the deep state and the upper echelons that control the deep state. The Soros, the Rothschilds, the Sauds. This is not good. This is very, very worrisome, but hopefully it's good that Q's pointing it out, and obviously there's stuff being done behind the scenes to stop this. So I just want to really take a second to say that this is a sick practice that we're going to definitely have to keep an eye on, and it's obviously going to point to some future stuff we're going to be talking about, obviously, in the future. Now, it says, why is Hussein John Kerry traveling worldwide, meeting with foreign heads of state, some enemies of the U.S.? Well, obviously, we just went over that. They're just telling them not to listen to Trump. They're trying to tell them that they still control the government, even though they're not elected, and they should have no power, basically zero power at this point. But somehow they think they have power and that they can go do this. I really hope these people get what's coming to them. It's just sick to see how depraved and awful these human beings are that think that, or that we once called our leaders. Now we have Clintons flying under the radar. So they're doing the same thing, flying under the radar and doing it, flying around the world. Look at where Hillary was. She was just over in India, probably talking to them about how she still has power and she still controls the deep state, and she's got dirt on everyone, and she's going to get everyone in trouble if they don't follow her way. And, that's the way they work. They get dirt on everyone and then they control. That's what this whole globalist, Luciferian, pedophile, Satanist stuff is all about. It's about getting dirt on people that they really couldn't let get out, because if they did, it would mean the end of their career immediately. But it's not being reported because the mainstream media is involved. They're Operation Mockingbird. The reporters are all in on it. Now it's saying 2 former presidents and Secretary of States out of power authority racing around the world pre-post POTUS. Why? Well, I think we just explained that very clear. It is unprecedented, though, isn't it? Isn't it unprecedented that there's somehow that these people think that they still control our government, even though that is not how our democracy works or our republic works in any sense of the way it's defined? These people are sick. These people are evil. These people are going to get what's coming to them. Mark my words on that. And Q's saying the world is connected, the world is watching Q. So obviously I think that it's very possible that they think the world's connected. They think they can do all these things. They think they can get away with it. But maybe behind the scenes, they can go and sit down with whoever. They can go down, sit down with the Iranian leaders, but then on the other end, or maybe not the Iranians, but other leaders, like if they went and tried to hassle Xi, maybe Xi turned around to Trump and said, why is Obama coming here and acting like he has power? He's a little nothing. That's what Obama is. He's a nothing. He's a nobody. He's going to go down as a criminal, in my opinion, and that's going to be his legacy. So it's quite unfortunate because he could have been a great president, but he chose not to be. He chose to involve himself in some pretty nefarious and evil activities that have led us to come to the reality that he is not who we thought he was, and that he was actually working against us as a country as a whole. But that's going to be it for these posts. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. If you're looking for a way to support the channel, please come here. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when these videos get posted. The second best way you can contribute is to go down, scroll down, leave your comments, your thoughts, insights, theories, anything you can, because like I say, we basically try to have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos where we talk about each one of the posts, what they could mean. And I love going down there. I learn stuff. You'll learn stuff if you go down there. Even if you don't comment, just go read through the comments. You're going to learn something you didn't know previous to watching this video. Now, and I really want to hear your thoughts and insights about some of these things that we went over today, because like I said, I'm going to work on this for a future date, because that's a lot of research that's going to be taken for that. But this is definitely an incredible time to be alive. So please go and share your thoughts and everything that you can down in the comments to let me, just share and create that community that we have that's so strong down there, where we kind of analyze all these things. Now, if you're looking for another way to support the channel, I really, really appreciate it when you come over here to Patreon. That's patreon.com. And you search Just Informed Talk. You'll come to this landing page. Go ahead and click that button to become a patron. And I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who has contributed and is contributing to keep this channel alive. It means the most to me. It's basically the best thing that keeps this channel going is you guys coming over here and helping me out on Patreon. Plus, there's so many great people who have great things to say and great thoughts. And I thank everyone in advance for coming and checking this out. And so without further ado, I want to announce that I've decided with last month's contributions from Patreon, the percentage that I'm going to give to charity, I'm going to split it. And I'm going to give to 2 very, very important charities. First off, you have this charity right here. For those of you who don't know, it's called Vets for Child Rescue. You can find them at vetsforchildrescue.org if you guys want to go find them for yourself. And you can donate right here on their landing page. And what they do is they do a very important job. These are a bunch of not ex-military. These are veterans who are going out and they are finding the pedophiles and they're exposing them and they're bringing them to justice. This is a very, very admirable cause that these men and women have undertaken, and I'm very proud to be one of the few people who are able to, or one of the many people I should say, that come support this endeavor. Now, guys, like I said, come over here to vetsforchildrescue.org and you can contribute too, but half of my 10% from Patreon will be going to this organization because this is very important that we support them and that we give them the funding they need to continue their battle against evil. And secondly, I've decided to give the other half to the Wounded Warrior Project, because I know a lot of people say that they had a bad structure at the top before. But they've changed that now, and they've actually improved quite immensely. So I am very proud to give to these two organizations. Now, next month it'll be probably two different organizations, but I'm not sure. I'll let you guys let me know what you think in the comments of these choices. But these are the two charities I've chosen to donate to, as well as I still have a donation to be made to my local VFW here. And I'm going to keep donating as much as I can because it's the right thing to do. And I hope you guys join me in supporting our wounded warriors, the families of fallen soldiers, and the veterans who are out there fighting these pedophiles, Satanists, Luciferians every day in real life. Okay, not just in fake reality or whatever. So please come here and support both these good causes. I know that's what I'm going to do. And every time you help and contribute to Patreon, charities like that will get a cut. And it not only can it'll help me keep the channel going by you coming here and doing it, but I'll be able to give to charity and we'll be able to help good causes. So that's going to be basically it for today. The one thing I want to talk about very quickly before we get into it is just, or after, since this is the most important thing, it's about God and why we should strive to be peaceful, even though it's so hard in this tumultuous world. I have two verses here that really stand out to me. It's first verse is Matthew 5, chapter 5, verse 9. Says, happy are the peacemakers, since they will be called sons of God. And then you have Romans chapter 12, verse 18, where they say, if possible, as far as it depends on you, be peaceable with all men. Now, this leads us into the next two verses I want to share that are very, very important to understanding how important God is that we have to, the only way we can attain the peace in our heart that we seek so desperately is by having mercy and forgiveness. And the first one is, Matthew chapter 5, verse 7, where he says, happy are the merciful, since they will be shown mercy. You see how that works? When you show mercy, you'll get it in return. That's the way God works. And then the next one is Colossians chapter 3, verse 13. It says, continue putting up with one another and forgiving one another freely, even if anyone has a cause for complaint against another. Just do as God freely forgave you, you must also do the same. So, yeah. It's about forgiveness. It's about the love of peace. We are at war with Satan. We are at war with evil. And the Bible does say, of course, there is a time for peace and a time for war. But we have to fight this battle every single day. So I encourage all of you out there to find your own way to contribute to the battle against evil, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through donating to charities and good causes, or it's by going out and getting into your community and volunteering there. But just remember that if you're ever in doubt and you need guidance and you're just not sure what to do or how you can contribute, do me this one favor. Take a moment, sit down and pray, and open your heart to God. Open your heart so that the Lord will come in and he will give you the guidance and knowledge and wisdom that you so desperately seek. And then on top of that, by opening your heart to God, he'll light a fire in your soul. And that fire will be visible to every single person who you deal with and love, and those who you don't necessarily love. They'll see that fire of God inside your heart, and then you become that beacon unto the world. You shine that light out. That's the point of God. He's inside of all of us if we let him in, if we call to him every day to guide us and to give us his wisdom. So that is definitely the most important thing in all of our lives. So remember, just pray. When in doubt, pray. And if you're doubting more, pray more. So if you don't take anything else away from this episode, please just take that away. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the latest Q post. Remember, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please come and hit this big red subscribe button before you leave. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you for watching. This has been Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed, and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.